Hello there, welcome back to Simon's Shed, and it's time for another layout update on the Severn Valley Railway, which is my N-gauge version of part of the Severn Valley Railway. So yes, fast approaching Christmas, and I've done some more work on it, so I thought I'd better put it all together and get an update out there for you guys. So coming up, finishing the platform, layout edging, picnic tables, and lots of diesel depot area work. Okay, let's take a look at what I've been up to. So we're going to carry on with the diesel depot area, and so far I've cut away some of the tarmac surface just so that the track is sticking directly to the surface underneath. I don't want it to pull the paper off. And I've glued the tracks down, and that's now drying, so I'll have to leave it for now, but the tracks are all in place where they need to be so that the diesel depot fits over them. Thinking about what to do with the track surface. I probably won't plaster it, because I think I haven't got any plaster and that's very messy, so I might just cut some card out and put it between the tracks on either side to create a sort of concrete area, especially here because it sort of dips down and there's actually a gap under the track there, so we need to build that up a bit so that the diesel depot sits on top of that surface and it's all nice and level, so we can do that. And I'm just finishing off the platform that you saw last time. So we've got one side on. By just cutting out some strengtheners the same height as the sides and gluing those down, and it's glued all the way there. So here's the other side ready to go. So I'll glue that on now. The hardest bit is getting a bead of glue from there to there and sticking it on before this bit's actually dried. So it's a bit of a challenge, but yeah, the platform is nearly done. So that's all dried now on the bottom of the platform, and just those little bits of card, as you can see, I've really made a strong structure. So that goes there. Ah, good, it fits. Just needs gluing down. I'm not going to do that just yet. But that's looking pretty good. Now, last time I said I bought this card, this black card, to try and improve the sort of edging and make it a bit easier to carry on with that around there, and I've started doing that now, mainly because I found some wallpaper paste in the garage, so I mixed up a little batch of that and started sticking this on, and as you can see I've sort of trimmed the top of that one, so that's how it's going to look, but the rest of it is still drying at the moment, but when it is dry I think that's going to look a lot neater than the old boards and a lot cleaner. So I've gone down to there so far, but yeah, that's going to look pretty smart I think. So I've trimmed along the top with a scalpel, a craft knife blade. Pleased with that. I've also trimmed the bottom off. Not really sure what to do yet. I've left it a bit long for now and sort of glued extra paper behind here to join these bits up so they're not flapping about, which looks alright. That bit down there still drying. I've had to re-stick a few bits, but overall I'm quite pleased with how that's turning out, so I think I'll carry on with that. But now let's have a little break from that and have a look at this Metcalf kit. I decided not to make a full video on this, as you can see the sort of three parts there: the tabletop, the legs and the bench. It's basically stick those three together, and that's pretty much it. So it would have been a very short video. We've also got some umbrellas, and I thought I'd use these picnic tables over either at Arley Station in the picnic area, or maybe at the pub in Arley in the garden, beer garden. So yeah, you can see there from the instructions, stick the legs on the side and stick the tabletop. The only complaint I have about this kit is you don't get any wire for the umbrella stalk bit. You have to provide your own, which is a bit naff, but the kit itself is very good. So you can see the legs going on and the tops going on. It just is very easy to stick it together, and that's what they look like without the umbrellas. Nicely detailed, and you cut out the paper umbrellas, and I actually used a paper clip and just sort of snapped off bits of paper clip for the umbrella stems, whatever you would call them, and you just cut out the paper umbrellas and sort of glue them together. So that was a nice little diversion, about £5 I think for the kit, and yeah, I think those look pretty good. And I've put those in place over here at the caravan park scene, and I think they go rather well. Pleased with those. Meanwhile, back at the diesel depot, printed out some more tarmac sheets ready for repairs over here. But the main thing I'm doing is trying to figure out the sort of indoor surface for the diesel depot. So we've got a bit of a level issue here where this side needs propping up a bit, but that's fine. So what I want is this in between the tracks, and then I'll obviously replicate that here to fill in that gap. That's fine. And then on the outside I've got like a piece to bring it up to the top of the sleepers, and then another piece to bring it over the top to cover up that bit. So that will look something like that. But then I found that the locos wouldn't quite fit under the doors, so I started making this higher and higher, and thought, hang on, I'm doing that the wrong way. So I've stripped all that back, and I've just decided now I'm going to set this to the height I want it, which is basically rail height. I'm going to put that down as it is. So as you can see, I might need to shave a bit off the width as well, but the main thing is the height. It just doesn't fit underneath. So rather than raising this up, which is a bit daft, I've started carving away. So that's what it was like, just a couple of millimeters extra at the top of the door, and I think that's probably enough. So that will be something like that, and that now clears there. So sorry, Mr. Shunter. So that's the idea. It's going to be quite fiddly, and I'm not sure whether to leave this as it is or to paint it a slightly darker concretey colour. The photos I've seen inside is quite nice and light, and because it is quite a new building, so I might well leave it. But yes, I've got a lot of fiddly cutting out to do there, so we'll see how that goes. Quite a lot of time has passed since the last bit of film, You just move this, but hopefully you can see the yard area is a little bit different. So the main thing is I've cut some sections of 1mm grey board and sort of built it up in a couple of layers. I am now a human weathering tool. I've been using the chalks, but I'll come to that in a moment. So yeah, just 1mm card and built up in layers so that it goes level with the sleepers and then over the sleepers sort of level with the rails. And I've sliced that off to the right size for that. I'm reluctant to touch that at the moment for obvious reasons, but I've got the size of that pretty much bang on. It doesn't quite sit flat on there, so I've either got to build up one corner or just super glue the diesel depot down and hold it down just to get rid of it. There's a little bit of a wobble. I think that's all square and in line. I think it's the ground surface that's not quite right. So after much fiddling around with this concrete base, I then repaired the rest of this area with the tarmac paper sheets, and then I did a little bit of experimenting with some black and grey chalks. They're just artist's chalks, they're not specifically weathering chalks, but it's the same kind of thing, and I've sort of just blended it all together, hide the joins and hopefully make it look a bit more realistic. Yeah, so it's taken me a while to do this and it's quite fiddly, but I've now got, as you can see, to this bit, and I've started also putting the paper on top of the turntable to sort of hide the tracks that we're not going to be using, so that will blend in a lot better as well. I'm just trying to tidy the edge up too. So that's where we are at the moment. Little burst of activity on that, so we're down to there now with the concrete sheets and the weathering, and we've gone all around the turntable. Still need to just hide the lip there somehow, but we'll figure that out. Managed to thread it sort of over the workings for the turntable, so that will be hidden like that. I've not built another cover for that yet. I might do something a bit more realistic than that. But yeah, that's about as much as I can do with this area at the moment, I think. Quite pleased with how that's turned out. You can see how the diesel depot fits on the concrete base. It's quite nice. I was hoping to give you a demo of it working, but still got a bit of fettling to do as you can see, the entrance is just a millimetre too narrow on that side. It's fine on the other side. So yeah, just a bit of trimming to do on the entrance there, just to make sure we can get locos in and out. But for now, that is the diesel depot and turntable area. So I will try and get some kind of video, another video out before the end of the year, but if I don't get chance, I would like to say have a fantastic Christmas and a happy new year, and just thanks for all the fantastic support you've given me throughout the year. And yes, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you soon.